I agree to authorize my speech to Data Tong ZY202000922 American English Conversation. I am the recorder number one. Start to talk about travel.
I agree to authorize my speech to Datatong ZY202000922 American English Conversation. I am the recorder number two. Start to talk about travel.
Okay, let's get the timer out here. Nope, that's not the timer. Here's the recorder. Okay, cool. So, conversation about travel. So, I don't know. I absolutely love travel. I've traveled around the world quite a lot and seen many different places and countries and cultures. Here's a question for you. What is your favorite part about traveling? About traveling.
My favorite part about traveling. I think my favorite part about traveling is to see different cultures and see how differently people live. And when I was in Germany for high school, I realized that they all had different kind of windows than the ones that are in China. And I was very surprised that they have that kind of windows which open sideways and also from the top. So I was like, people do live in very different conditions in different countries, and that's only a small part. What is your favorite part of travel?
My favorite part about travel um, is is culture, and that can come out in the architecture, in food, in people. It's just everything is different. Like I'm a human, I grew up in a culture, and so just to see how other people live, and if I can, the best part is just to see their different worldviews, how they understand the world or deal with problems, um, how they talk to each other, social gatherings. Just, I really love to see how things are different and kind of think about my own culture and think like, oh wow, that's interesting. In fact, I'll tell you a story.
Sure.
Um, when I was in Bali, I was driving. I think I told you this story
Yes,
before,
you did.
but I'll say it again because we're on
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes. uh, is that I was driving in Bali and a scooter, and then in front of me I saw two scooters hit each other, and I was shocked because it was a car accident, and it made
Mm-hmm.
that noise when two things hit, like the crunching plastic and metal and tires screeching and stuff. And it's kind of the things where I just grew up when there's a traffic. It's like or there's an accident. It's like oh no, and everyone looks around and looks for severed heads or how bad it is and stuff. And then it's kind of like an emergency situation, and so time kind of stops. So when I saw them hit, I at first went into my own cultural upbringing and thought, oh, there's going to be a fight. They're going to get angry. They're going to yell. Are they going to move their bikes to the side and wait for police, or do they just leave everything there for the police to see? So that was my expectation. But then I looked and saw that it wasn't too bad. They're only hitting each other going like 10 kilometers an hour or something, not very fast. But then they stopped. They were kind of in shock. They looked down at their bike. They looked at them down at themselves. They saw that they were okay. They looked up at each other. They saw that each other were okay. And then they started laughing and they got on their bikes and drove off laughing. And to me, that was one of the biggest shocks because I never thought in a million years that people could laugh it off. So that was an amazing time where travel showed me that I don't have to get angry if I ever get in a car accident. Other cultures, as long as everyone was okay, they can just laugh it off and think of it just as a crazy event of the day and go on. So that was one of my favorite parts about travel is like seeing those um, different things, the culture and realization. Yeah.
That is very interesting, and it does let me also see that how I live in my country and how other people live in their country is so different, which makes me think that I could think about other ways of dealing with certain situations in the future, right? Just as one time it happened to me in Germany, I saw this one guy in the cafeteria. He was walking with his food, but with naked feet. He was not wearing shoes. And I was very surprised, and I asked my friend, why is this guy not wearing shoes? And he was like, well, he just doesn't like to wear them during the day. And that's very normal and accepted here. And I was shocked too. I was like, wow, I didn't know that it's okay for society to accept you, that you could just not wear shoes during the day and walk around. So I thought that was very amazing. And then it made me think how different societies accept things differently, and then it, I should be more open to different ideas that my culture, where I grew up, is not so accustomed to. Just because it is foreign doesn't mean it is bad. It might make me think about some other things that I have not been familiar with. So, back to our topic about travel. What do you think? What do you think is the most interesting thing that you have experienced in your travel?
The most interesting. I mean, every culture has different, different. Yeah, it's just so much difference in so much cultures. My favorite thing about travel. What was the question? Just my favorite thing about.
Just one of the, maybe not just the most, but the one of the most interesting things that happened in your travel.
Oh boy, that's really hard to say because there's just millions of things. In fact, when I first moved to Indonesia for the first time, I kept a journal and it was like, wow, this is an amazing experience. I want to write down everything, right? A travel journal. It's pretty common thing to have and keep these memories and stuff. And and I had maybe the first just day or two I wrote in it, but very super interesting things were happening every single day that I would get home and just look at my journal and think there were like 100 things for me to write. I just can't write them all, and so actually I just gave up. I mean, the craziest things. I remember once, just for example, top of my head, I'm in Indonesia. I'm in Jakarta, in the capital, in the city. There's millions of people, and I go to get on a city bus, and just as a kind of a cultural experience, I could get a taxi, but I was like, okay, I want to go on a city bus. So I waited at the bus stop, and bus stops are different, and how people waited, and how close people were, and what people were going to take on the bus. It's all different, and so that was all interesting just to start with. And then the bus showed up, and it was kind of a normal size bus, but it was green and orange, which is different, and really old. And the exhaust that went out the back was like thick and black. And I kind of thought, wow, like that would be illegal in America, especially in a city bus, not just like a private bus. And so when I went to look at the back of the bus, it had stickers on the bus, and they're obviously not city stickers. The bus driver, I guess, just put them on. And across, it's a bus. It's a city bus. Is huge. So the back window, which was, huge, from top to bottom, left to right, a sticker covered the whole back, which is crazy that it would be a private sticker and that big. And it was the name of the bus, which was the Hitler.
Yeah?
On a city bus.
What?
Was named the Hitler. And I was
That's funny.
that, yeah. And obviously in America, right, even, he's viewed as like the worst thing in person in history. So that was just shocking and on many levels. So I get into this bus and it's hot and, where am I going to sit? And even just the little coin machine, and things were broken and ripped, and I think there might